Hey, what is going on? How's it going, everyone? Let me get set up here. My mic, there we go. Probably, maybe sounds a little bit better. That's a little bit louder. How's it going? Wow, lots of chat going on before I hop in. Love it. Thank you so much. And sorry to keep you guys waiting. I hate to do it. I don't purposely do it. It's just like, there's always like 5 things I need to do before I get started. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna kick this off and let people file in. But how's it going? So real quick, before I greet all of you more than I already have and start reading some comments, I just wanted to call out a few subs real quick that happened offline. So wow, that's new to me. So the Lycus, thanks for the sub. B Ryel, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. And Greg Sharp 1, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. I apologize if you were waiting for me to be online when that happened, but whoa, Techno, there's a 3 months right there. Thank you so much, man. But yeah, I apologize if you guys were waiting for me to be online when you did that, but I'm online now. So, and also I apologize for taking Tuesday off. I just family in town, and you know, don't get too many opportunities to hang out with family. So yeah, had to do that. But anyways, man, Takano, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. I'm gonna get into some comments here in a second, but man, 3 months, man. My man, thank you. Appreciate it. ZR3PT, hello. I was waiting. Hey, thanks. You were first in here and first to comment, so I appreciate it. And then you tossed a follow, so appreciate that. Still, ZRP3, still a bit confused with your stream schedule and time zone. I'm from Portugal. It's 1:23 a.m. Wow, it is late there. Well, I apologize. Stream schedule is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and it's 7 Central. So it's, you know, 7 Central, so that's not good. It's, whoa, Z3PT, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. Thank you. But it's 7 Central, so to you, I think right now that's 1 a.m. Apologize. C Cassidy, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. Oh man, thank you. Oh, Gorfy, gifted. Oh, Gorfy gifted, wait a second. I'm getting super confused. I'm looking at my notifications. Gorfy dude, thank you, man. Gifted 5 subs, wow. What a crazy way to start off the stream. Can't even get to comments because I'm thanking you guys so much for your contributions. I really do appreciate it. Jeez, Gorfy, man, dang, 5, dude. Appreciate it, man. So ZRPT, Sid Cassidy, Petabyte Gamer, Paper Baboon, Unknown, R6, enjoy your sub. Thank Gorfy for it. Dude, thank you so much. 5 gifted subs, man. Seriously, I really appreciate it. And you know, I always say, like, you know, just hanging out and spending time is more than enough. So dude, appreciate it so much. Wow, I can't even get to the comments because you guys are blowing me up, but love it. Dale Kurt, how's it going? Takano, hey yo. Hey Takano, how's the rat coming? That's from Dale Kurt. Seagore01, how's it going? Hey Techno Tim, thanks for all the great content and for answering and liking my YouTube comments in your vids. Absolutely, I will like and comment on every single comment that I get while I can until it gets to be too many. And you know, I might have a couple of days go by where I'm not getting caught up, but that's part of my channel. I decided I'm gonna comment and like on ones that I need to comment and like on. Even ones that I may not need to comment and like on. I'm totally gonna do it because, like, if you guys are spending the time chatting, like in my channel, or chatting in comments, I'm gonna respond to it because, like, you put in the effort, I'm definitely gonna put in the effort too. So I appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, I know most of the things I comment on are usually gigantic channels and they don't have time to comment back, but it's always super nice when people do. So, hey, just know, Seagore, that I'm always gonna, I shouldn't say always, you guys will probably clip this one day and I won't be able to, but I'm gonna do my best. It's on my task list. I have weekly things I do every week. One's make a video and two's respond to comments. So I set aside time every week to do it for sure. Yeah, Takano, I'd love to hear about your rack, man. I've been catching bits and pieces of it. I think you've moved on from you know, the hardware stuff to the software. So at least that's what's going on in Discord. Loving it, man. Seagore, very excited to see what you do in the future. Yeah, me too. Hopefully more of this. So I appreciate you coming in. Toastface Gorilla, yeah, man. Hey Tim and chat, yeah. What's up, Toastface Gorilla? And then we had a ton of gifted subs from Gorfy, man. Dude, so appreciate you doing that, man. You really don't have to, but I really appreciate it. Don't think of stopping that resub for a while. Your content is good and like it doesn't cost me anything. Hey, thanks. Yeah, it's you know, another benefit of Twitch Prime is free sub. It's pretty cool. So I appreciate it. Oh, I got an emote. Oh yeah, I'm going to. Thanks for I got an emote from you. Thanks, Gorfy. So I just sent a thank you out. I'll see that here in a second. Toast Face Gorilla, yeah, with my headphones. I gotta come up with more emotes for folks that are subbing or that spend points to get to unlock an emote for a little bit, because I mean, mine are okay, but I need some more. I definitely need some more. I gotta hire an artist to do it, or hire a designer to help me out with it, because my skills are subpar. I mean, you see my YouTube thumbnails, I do those myself. But the ones that look good, I get some help. The ones that don't look so good are all me. So, yeah, Gorfy, yeah, thanks so much. Enjoy, gents. Good content here, thank you. And ladies, forgive the ignorance. Not at all, not at all. Ladies and gents, thanks, Gorfy. Sorry, just finally caught up to your comments, but dude, so appreciate it. And then Dale Kurt has a bunch of gibberish. That's all good. Please come back. Whoa, here we go. Gorfy, Dale Kerr, enjoy the content. Please come back. Techno Tim is filling that void and much needed. Thank you. Ignore. Okay, Dale. Yeah, so my UB key goes off. I don't know what a UB key is. What's a UB key? UBI key goes off? I should know this. Maybe I should know this. Netscape logo. Yeah, I totally should. A Surf logo or whatever browser you guys were totally trolling me with that one day. Yeah, install Surf. I was like, oh, is that something I haven't heard of before? You never know. Because like most open source stuff is so, you know, so generically named most of the time. Especially like JavaScript package, you know, and all kinds of packages now. They just take the most generic name and I love it. Like CouchDB. Like, who would have thought? Like you'll have a database named Couch. Love it. So when you guys said Surf that stream, I thought for sure, I'm like, okay, Surf. That, yeah, I'd totally install that if it was okay. I'll look into the Netscape logo. I need something super jank to like either troll people, or you guys can throw it out there when something's super janky. I was checking out the channel. I meant to see if I was live. ZR, man, I apologize. Yeah, I'm a little bit late today, so I apologize, and I do apologize for not being here Tuesday. I'll try. My resolution is to try to be on time. That's for sure. I need to put a thing because I like it when people are on time, and I never honestly thought that anyone would wait for me to come online. So I really appreciate it. Like that in itself is awesome to hear. And then it's also, you know, bad on me because if I say 7, it means 7. That means start at 7. Like what did my old IT director used to say? If you're on time, you're late. And so I need to start living that because yeah, he had a really good point. If you're on time, you're late because you still got some setup stuff to do. You still need to find a seat. You still need to do X, Y, Z. So Cassidy, use that dog from the last video for one. What dog? Oh, this little. I don't even know. This is like a lemming thing. So this, yeah. So yeah, if you're talking about that logo right there for Traefik, like when I see that, I'm like, is this for real? Like the first like 5 times I saw that logo for Traefik, I'm like, this can't be for real. Like this has to be a meme that someone's using, and this can't be a real, you know, project. Traefik spelled wrong, at least in English. And then it has this super funny like lemming thing on it, like a big hamster. I was like, I don't know about this, but yeah, it's awesome. That's what you mean. But yeah, it's yeah, I got some stuff coming. I think my next video hopefully will help a lot of people. And yeah, it's the logo that I'm using is pretty plain too, but it's on par with this one, but I love it. Yeah. Yeah, Dale Kurt, you should know this. It's a security key. Look up Ubico. Yeah, I should, shouldn't I? I haven't, I mean, I've done a ton of like security, like 2-factor auth type stuff. I've only had a physical security key, I think twice in my life. One was an RSA key when I worked in healthcare, and to get in VPN, you needed the RSA key in combination with your password, you know, the ones you see everyone have. And then the other one was my Blizzard two-factor auth for World of Warcraft. So that's the only two physical keys I've ever had. Now, you know, I use, you know, Authy or Google Auth or Google Authenticator from my 2FA, or just, you know, or my one-time password, you know, text to me over the air from places. But yeah, I should look into it. Should look into a hardware key. Geez, at Techno 10, we're all waiting. Do you announce on your social media if you're running behind? Your manager sounds like a military person. If you're on time, you're late. Yeah, yeah. It was an old director. He was a director of IT, and he used to say that. And he kind of said it as a joke, but he really lived it. And I get it right away. And so, hey, Despuchus McClownin, Despuchus McClownin. That's hard to say. But hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, he was an awesome guy though. Like nothing, can't say anything bad about him. He just had a lot of like, you know, a lot of manager kind of phrases he would throw out there. The other one was he always used to throw out there was like swoop and poop. He called it a manager technique, and it was when some manager would just come by and give you something to do and then leave. Anyways, he was awesome. Really like that guy. But yeah. So apologize. I'll definitely be on time. So going back to, I announced things on social media. You know, I tried to, and I did on Twitter. I did for sure. But the way I have Discord wired up is that Discord I post to my notifications channel. If I post to Twitter, so you don't have to like look in two places. But the notification channel is most likely it's gonna be a handful of things. It's gonna be, hey, I'm live. Hey, there's a new video. Or hey, I said something on Twitter. And so maybe I can call those out a little bit better. Sometimes I'll post in a notification channel like, hey, either I'm running late or it's gonna be canceled, but I figured, well, if I do it to Twitter, it goes to Discord. So, but how about I just be on time? But but yeah, I try to for sure. It's just like, man, 7 creeps up here real quick, especially when I work a little bit late and then eat dinner and whatnot. But anyways, but yeah, I'll totally should communicate a little bit better. Yeah, and I apologize if you're waiting. I'm still like floored that someone was waiting for me to go live. That's so awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Sigor, Techno Kim, looks like YubiKey has a hardware 2FA like USB key. Gotcha, for sure. Yeah, I'd always be afraid I'd lose it. I don't know, I'm kind of cool with software keys. Kind of cool with them. I mean, they've worked for me for a long time. I probably have 30, 40 accounts, you know, under two-factor auth with the software, you know, key with two-factor auth. But yeah, I'll have to look into it. YubiKey. Can I log into Windows with it? I probably can. That's something else I've never done either. Like Windows has always had pretty decent support for two-factor auth, like signing into stuff. And you always see it, like insert security key or type in your password type stuff. And yeah, be cool to test it out. Traffic's a gopher. Oh yeah, a gopher from the Golang. Yeah, Golang is a gopher too, isn't it? Golang is totally, yeah. Traefik is just super funny. And like, and I didn't realize he was like, you know, a traffic controller when I first saw it. It totally makes sense now, but I'm like, why is he wearing a life jacket and why does he have 2 lightsabers? Like, I had no idea when I first saw him. And again, I thought it was a joke. And I didn't know that the headphones were like, hey, you know, ear protection. I thought he was listening to music. I'm like, this is like the craziest partying, you know, gopher, lemming, whatever, ever. You know, he's blue, he's wearing headphones, he's ready to party, he has a life jacket on, and he's got 2 lightsabers to do whatever. But yeah, totally. Pinot Noir Superstar. That's awesome. That's fun to say. Nice name. And yeah, totally is a gopher. I thought I could have read though, like in the United States, like we have gophers, but wherever, I don't know if this is from Norway or Sweden, but they were saying something like, I don't know, maybe I'm recalling. It was something about, it was like their version of the gopher. And it was like some kind of big hamster or something. And maybe it was a lemming, I don't know. But I don't think I've ever seen a lemming except for in the video game. Dale Kurt, it's a physical key plugged into the MacBook Pro USB-C. Okay, So MacBook Pro probably works on Windows too. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I have it written down. YubiKey. I have it written down. All right, I keep wanting to say Ubisoft. But YubiKey, totally. I'll definitely check it out. Despuchus McClownin. What's good, brother? Just call me Clownin. All right. Don't worry, just call me Clownin. I like it. So when I start to see Despuchus, I'll just say Clownin. Yeah, I like it. It's easy to say too, easy to remember. Man, something I noticed too, like, I was totally gonna go on a side about how my hat always slowly falls backwards and I don't know how. Like 10 minutes in, I'll realize my hat's like this. I'm like, how does it even get like that? Anyway, Takano, theater teacher, was the same. Show starts at 7. If you got here at 7, you're late 15 minutes before starting. You're barely on time. I like it. I like the gumption. I don't like the policy because I'm usually that one that's trying to slide in a couple minutes before, the clock strikes 7. But yeah, totally. I love it. ZR3PT, Techno Tim, you got me into Docker. First tried it on Rancher, but it was taking too much RAM for just one container, so I switched to Portainer, and now I containerize my services. Hey, that is awesome. That is a success story, because yeah, for sure. And so that's a good segue into a couple things, that come up all the time that I like to talk about, because, I do talk a lot about Rancher, and for me, Rancher is an mean to an ends, right? I want Kubernetes so that I can do certain things in Kubernetes, and so I get Rancher because it makes Kubernetes really easy, even though Kubernetes is super hard and complicated. And from that, I also get Docker. But I think Portainer is also awesome as well, because for me, at the end of the day, I love to see people containerizing things. And I know we have, the whole Docker camp and the LXC camp, and I think they're both awesome. Anything I think you can do to isolate, processes or processes and keep them separate and make it immutable and make it repeatable and only manage config is a win for me. And so that's why I love Docker, love Kubernetes, love Rancher, love Portainer, even love LXC, even though I barely used it, because it means if you're using one of those, most likely you're not spinning up multiple virtual machines to just run one service. Or the flip side of that is you're spinning up multiple machines and you're running many services on that virtual machine, which makes it very hard, to back up, very hard to migrate, very hard to manage. It's not immutable. I mean, you could change things on there. Something can, whatever. Ports can conflict or something can write to a directory you don't expect. And so, yeah, so hopefully I don't come off like, yeah, Rancher is the end all be all. No, I think containerization is kind of, I might nod my head if you said containerization is the end all be all. But then again, there are use cases for so many things. I talk about it all the time. Some things I run bare metal, some I virtualize, some I containerize. And, I take it on a case by case basis. And then sometimes it's just down to personal preference too. Sometimes just installing something on a VM is easier for someone to manage. Why? Because they can take snapshots, they can take images of that VM. They can totally compartmentalize it that way and say this virtual machine, albeit it's a full OS, only does one thing, and that's how I manage it. And I think that's super awesome too. I do. Because at the end of the day, it's your environment. You have to manage it. You have to back it up. You have to make sure it's running. So I always will say, first of all, use what works for you. I say that with hardware, I say it with software. Use what works for you. There are some best practices, but there are very few wrong answers when it comes to your home, infrastructure. And I don't want to be dictating architecture or anything like that, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to run stuff at home. We're all trying to spin up a server, experiment with some stuff, learn, maybe host some things, and have some fun while we're at it. So that's my spiel about containerization, virtualization, and bare metal. I love it all. I've been doing it for years. I think there are no wrong answers. There are a lot of cool things when you start to go down that path, and a lot of benefits, but there are also some pitfalls. some landmines and dragons when you go down that route too, for sure. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go on all day about Docker and how just managing configs is so much better than managing operating systems. You know, I back up my config, I mount a volume, it has one config file or a config folder in there, and I just back it up. And that whole entire container, you know, is immutable. Like I can't change anything in it. And if I want to reproduce it, I just do a Docker pull or, you know, Kubernetes redeploy with the same tag, or, you know, Docker compose with the same tag. And it's exactly where it was before. I mean, outside of, you know, your configs or whatever you have mounted locally. But anyways, I'll keep going to comments. But that's a good point. ZR3PT. Glad you found Portainer. Use what works for you. Glad you're using Docker. And a lot of my tutorials will still work because I walk through, you know, here's how you do it on plain old Docker. And if you want to try Kubernetes, here's how you do it there too. So hopefully they still work for you. And if not, hopefully at least in the first 2 minutes of the video, you discover some service that you haven't heard of before. But yeah, sounds, so anyways, I'll move on. Huge thanks, great content, keep it up. Yeah, no problem, man. I'll definitely keep it up. Keep coming and I'll keep keeping it up. Dale Kurt, sounds like the start of Kevin Hart show. The way my bank account is set up. Yeah, yeah, man. Gorfy, cool. We can watch some of your social media. I understand this isn't your full-time gig and life happens. Yeah, for sure. And the easiest way, honestly, is Discord. I know not everybody can be in Discord all the time, but if I post, I'm running late, or if it's gonna be, you know, 15, 20 minutes late, I probably won't do social media. I'll probably do Discord, which I didn't this time. But if it's like hours late, I'll definitely do social media. If it's gonna be canceled altogether or moved, I'll do social media, because then it also get to Discord. So Techno, oh, looks like Windows Update destroyed my graphics driver, super low res. Yeah, that happens. And I don't even want to go into like, you know, who does, yeah. Like NVIDIA, I don't know. Love NVIDIA, but their GeForce experience, like forcing me to install all this stuff and sign in and create an account now to just, you know, install some drivers for this whatever $300-400 video card I just bought is kind of ridiculous. But anyways, I can't complain too much because I use the GeForce experience to record a lot of stuff, and like I like that piece of GeForce experience. I just don't like how hard it is to just like get drivers. Guess once you got it installed and you just need to update, it's totally fine. It's a feature. Arthron. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. Athron. You can. How's it going, man? Dude, I haven't seen you in a while, and hope, man, I've never said your name out loud. That's funny. Hope you're well, man. Hope things are going well. Gorfy, so we playing Tarkov tonight? We'll totally buy the game and send it your way. Oh man, it looks awesome. I know that you've been totally getting involved in it. I have friends that play it too, friends that play it online, well, internet friends, that tell me about it, that explain it to me. One of my buddies was in the stream one time telling me all about it. I was asking a lot of questions. I think that's how we get on that topic before. I think it looks awesome. Haven't played it. I probably should at some point. I'm just afraid of getting sucked into a game like that. Just might never come out. Like my stream will start to turn into like Tarkov streams. Not that that's a bad thing, but I might spend too much time. But yeah, I should totally check it out. YubiKids, good times. Arthron, man, I need to pronounce your name properly because I know you and I should be able to pronounce it, but I've never said it out loud, man. Indeed it is. Yeah. Boss Mac, that looks like a new name. Man, I found you this week. Sad to not have found you earlier. It's been some time. I saw such high quality, well-produced tech content on YouTube. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. You're not missing much because I just started. So this is just the beginning. This is not my final form. So Boss Mac, I appreciate that. And I hope, and I thank you for coming in to definitely say that. Hope you like my videos. I've only been doing it for what is August, 8 months. And one video a week for 8 months. That's what I've been doing. So super new to the YouTube game. So appreciate it. Chicano, we do behind the scenes lighting. Classmate and I got there and we just waiting for the assistant and couldn't find them. Stood outside a solid 20 minutes until they came out and they were like, were you guys about to freak out? Yeah. Yeah, man. If you're on time, you're late, right? ZR3 PT. Oh, ZR3. Awesome. Totally right. I think that was in response to my long spiel about Docker, Rancher, Kubernetes, and Portainer. But, you know, like I said, use what works for you. I think containerization is awesome, however you do it. And if that doesn't work for you, yeah, go bare metal. I don't mind. Just try something, do something, have fun. That's kind of my take on it, because not everyone can afford servers or afford processors with virtualization. Some people may not even be able to afford a Raspberry Pi, and if they get one, then they run the services they can. And so I'm all for just like exploring and trying things, especially like getting services running at home. It's super fun, super fun. I mean, I've hosted a blog like forever, and I would just like go to work and tell my friends like, look at my blog, and they're like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, dude, it's totally running in my basement. And they were just like, oh, that's cool. And so anyways, I enjoy that stuff, hosting services for sure. Oh, there are definitely wrong answers. I know, Athron, I know. I'm just saying in general for, you know, home type exploratory stuff, you know, kind of, you know, learning. I guess there are some wrong answers, but I think if you try, you know, handing out all kinds of trophies, I think that, you know, trying and exploring things and learning, even if you set something up wrong, still teaches you something. So that's me. Homeland New, haven't seen your name in a couple of streams. How's it going? Actually, no, I saw it. I saw it on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. It's either Saturday or Thursday. Homeland New, how's it going? Good to see you. Penguin Airlines, there's a new one. Oh, use Chocolatey to skip the GeForce experience. Yeah, Choco, right? Choco. Some people say Choco install and some people say Choco install. Do you say Choco or Choco? Because I've heard it both ways. But yeah, good call. Chocolatey to skip the GeForce experience. The one thing though, if you do skip the GeForce experience, you gotta install the driver like every time there's an update. I think they removed the auto update piece. They specifically put the auto updater now in GeForce experience, I think. But not a big deal. I don't think I've ever, there's only been one time where I updated my driver in my entire life where I'm like, yes, that fixed exactly what my problem was. Most of the time it's just like a whole bunch of fixes and supports for new games I don't even play. But it's funny, like this happened 2-3 months ago. You know, I updated my drivers and all of a sudden like nothing would render properly in Adobe Premiere. As soon as I put like any effect on it, it was just a black screen. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna kill me. And sure enough, the next driver update fixed it. But anyways, yeah, that's a good call. I should do more Chocolatey. I do a bunch of terminal stuff and I totally get it. Like I use Brew on Mac and I use Aptitude on Linux and or Ubuntu and Debian, but I should totally do more Chocolatey. I even install Linux utilities on Windows in WSL. But for some reason, I'm always just like, I don't even think about Chocolatey. I should. If I did, yeah, like totally in enterprise, they're all over it. Windows package, Choco install, and you know, their own internal registry for all their packages. Totally like put an end to all the craziness that was going on with SMS, or I forget what the replacement product name was for Microsoft's SMS for installing stuff. But yeah, good call on Chocolatey. Takano, fully agree. I have a GeForce GTX 150 Ti. I don't even know what a G150 Ti is. That like old school, like before the 200 series? Or do you mean a 1050? So Cassidy, do we get a hint about the Saturday's video? Did I? So I didn't. I might drop some hints. I won't say it. You'll get hints, but there'll be like inside jokes to myself that you'll never get. I don't know. How about this? Something, no, I don't know. I hate to, yeah, I mean, no, kinda. I don't know, I get, I like to keep it kind of secret. I mean, there's only like one person that knows what it is besides me, and that's my wife, and she probably has no idea, you know, what I'm talking about usually, most of the time, and I explain it a little bit, but I don't know. Yeah. I'll see if I can drop some hits, and then I'll give the wink. But no, just another awesome thing I found that I think will help a lot of people, kind of builds off the last last one a little bit, but yeah, kind of. I'm building up this, this stairway to be able to fully host some of your services at home, and so this is just yet another piece to that. And then I'm gonna do some more exploration on some other things. And I even have my next one planned. I never have the next one planned. I figure out the next one, like, so Saturday morning, I release, and then I'm like, it's like work. I'm like, oh my gosh, like managing comments, doing social media and stuff. And then I'm like so nervous about like, what am I doing tomorrow? Because like Sunday's my film day, and I'm just like, usually Saturday's pretty busy. And so I'm already planning, the next video as soon as I release the last one. It's like no celebrating or anything. It's on to the next. And then following up the comments. So yeah, got something coming. But I have my next one planned too. And a lot of people have already been hinting at it too. So I'm pretty pumped about my next one. I mean, next one I film. But anyways, but yeah, Sagacity, I'll try to drop some hints, and I'll give the wink. Possibly upgrading my main PC to a Ryzen 7, nice. Ryzen 9 a bit pricey, totally agree. And retire my current PC over to a Proxmox machine for some more VMs, nice. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I think Ryzen 7 is totally fine. I mean, Ryzen 9, I totally agree. That's where like the you jump to the next tier of like expensive. But it sounds awesome. And I know a lot of people are always going like, they want tons of cores, they want super high, clock speeds on each of those cores, and I get it, and it's good. But a lot of the times, I mean, even on my workload, most things are idle. Most things are idle. I'd say, 90, probably more than 90% of the time, it takes, at least for my workloads, it takes like a ton of traffic all at once, which isn't happening, for me at least, or a ton of people watching something on Plex where it's going to transcode lots of streams, which doesn't really happen. Or like my home security tripped off like 15 alerts all in a row. So it's like every camera's all recording, buffering, and converting all that video and shipping it off somewhere else safe. So I'd say go with, I would say go with what makes sense value-wise, and you'd be surprised how much you can get out of, even a quad-core processor, a Ryzen 3 even, or a Ryzen 5. It goes a long way in a server. I mean, most of the time, like I said, it's going to be either you have an intense workload or you reboot the system where, 5 virtual machines need to come up all at once. I mean, that's like the most intensive job my server can do is like reboot, the server, 6 VMs coming up all at the same time, spinning up Docker, Kubernetes, and then on top of that, 30, 40, 50 workloads coming all up at once. And then after that, they just, kind of settle down after about a minute and a half, and then everything's cached, everything's in memory, and it's caught up. Anyways, yeah, sounds awesome, Takano. Toastface Grilla, my home lab rack has become the ultimate scope creep. I banned myself from spending any more money on this year. I hear you, man. I hear you. And I think one of the worst or best things you can do is buy a rack, because then you have a lot of empty space. And if you have, OCD like me, you're like, well, something needs to go in that space. And then you're like, well, what can I get? Maybe, maybe it's this, or maybe it's a 4U, PC conversion. Well, and if it's not that, well, maybe I can get some shelves and, drawers and put them in there until then. So it's not, open. I hear you, man. Total scope creep. It kind of feels like a money pit sometimes too, but it's super, super fun. Yeah, at some point I don't know, I'm like building up this rack. I know there's going to be a point where I'm like, now I need to downscale. So that'll be fun too. Home Lab new, how secure are free BSD jails? Trying to figure out what I can use them for. I haven't used them a ton. I know they're on Freenas, and that's how they manage all of their, their containers or their jails or their plugins. I guess they call them plugins in jails. I feel like they're okay. I don't feel like Freenas would have made a decision like that and put, free BSD jails inside of Freenas if they weren't okay. I don't think that, that would exist in FreeBSD if it wasn't pretty okay. And the fact that, you know, Freenas chose that, you know, to run plugins says a lot about it. So I can't speak personally, but just looking at, you know, the people who are using it, or consuming it, which is Freenas, and then all of Freenas are, you know, IX Systems, TrueNAS, all of their customers, seems okay to me. Yeah, but it looks like they might be doing some different stuff too here in a little bit with scale. Dale Kerr, I started out with a Raspberry Pi cluster. All right, yeah. I've had many Raspberry Pis, and that's awesome that you start out with a cluster. I've never clustered them. I've had 3. I still have 3, but they're all doing different things. I've never clustered them. When I see people's, you know, Raspberry Pi, like mini rack on Reddit and Home Lab in the subreddit, I'm just like, man, that is so awesome. I wonder what goes on inside of there, but it looks awesome. Penguin Airlines, neither, since I think that's going back to, oh, maybe Chocolatey? Cup all, Noop, my favorite. SCCM? Oh, yeah, so sorry, I'm way behind. SCCM was, yeah, thank you. I said SMS. Wow, I'm starting to show my age. Yeah, so SMS was the predecessor to SCCM. You got it, totally. And I think now, like, that Chocolatey is so popular, like your SCCM scripts end up just being a Choco install or Choco install, which they used to be this crazy thing, like install this, and, you know, I don't know. There was just like so much work on Windows to install things unattended, you know, by, you know, thousands of companies, and then Chocolatey comes along and just like does it, and it's open source and it's so awesome. I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. Takano 1050 Ti. All right, I was like, ooh, 150 Ti. That's going back. I handed down one of my PCs to my brother, and I was helping him just the other day, and I forget. I think I had a 280 at one time, and he was still using it. I was like, whoa, that thing is still going. That's awesome. But I was like, so when you said 150, I was like, oh, that's even slower than this 2080, or not 2080, 280. HomeLab New just sub for another month. Well, thank you, appreciate it. I didn't see the notification. Sometimes Twitch is weird. Like if you resub, like, and it's a Twitch Prime one, like you have to actually share that message and send that message for a notification to pop up. No idea why Twitch switched to that. Maybe you just, some people want to resub and not see the notification, but hey, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate it, for sure. Takano, it's overclocking from the factory, but still lagging behind in a little newer titles. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with it. I have a 1050, I don't have a Ti, and I have a 1060, and they're awesome. They can run, you know, decent modern games at 1080p, 60 frames per second. You know, medium settings, depending on the game, but yeah, I think they're awesome. Good value, for sure. Dale Kerr, what are your quick thoughts? I like it, quick thoughts, preface this so he doesn't like ramble on forever. What are your quick thoughts about the whole Epic Games versus Apple issue? I think it's awesome. I don't know, I think it's awesome. Like I caught that story really close to when it happened. I love that they, you know, mocked Apple and basically used their own video on them. I think that's awesome. Like the nostalgia was awesome, just looking at that, because I think Apple did that to IBM to basically say, you know, hey, you don't need to be whatever zombies and follow this, you know, whatever they thought IBM had going on. And so Epic kind of did the same thing, where they basically said, hey, we shouldn't be, you know, we shouldn't have to give you all of this money, basically. We shouldn't have to give you 30% of all of our sales just because you have a monopoly on your own platform, which is kind of what it is. It's kind of weird to think about Apple having a monopoly on their own platform, you know, which they kind of do. But, you know, on iOS, you use the App Store to install stuff, and then, you know, if you charge for any digital goods, you have to go through the App Store and not through your own store or third-party store. So, yeah, kind of weird and kind of awesome. I think it's a start. Another start to this, because a lot of companies have said, nope, we're not going to do it, or nope, we won't do it. You know, Amazon said it, Netflix said it, everybody said it, but then everybody ends up caving in. But I think this is where, you know, a lawsuit will have to like kind of settle it. And who knows? I mean, if Apple has something planned, highly doubt it. I mean, maybe they could have third-party app stores in iOS. I mean, imagine if someone on Windows said like, hey, the only way you're gonna get software installed on your Windows PC is if you go through the Microsoft Store. And oh, by the way, if you're a developer, that's the only way you're gonna get it installed. And we're gonna take 30% of everything. Hey, there it is. Home Avenue, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got my link going. Imagine if someone said that to you as a developer, or you as a company, and you're just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, that's kind of what Apple's done forever. So anyways, I think it's awesome, but there's two sides to that story too. So there's the other side of the story where it's like, Apple provides this huge infrastructure for billions of people to download software for free, and all of the free software, they don't pay a dime, but yet they get to use this, worldwide infrastructure. Hey, Big Jam Dot, thank you so much for the follow, appreciate it. Everyone else gets to use this worldwide infrastructure that, is pretty secure, goes through a lot of vetting for quality, goes through the App Store and gets distributed on every platform, every app store, Apple App Store around the world. So, if you're a free app and you're a 20 gig app and you have 250 million downloads, and every time you update it, it gets distributed to, 250 million people, 20 gigs of stuff, that costs money. But then again, like Apple, what was it yesterday? Worth $2 trillion. I think they got some money to spare. So anyways, there's definitely two sides to that story, and I could go on all day for Apple. Like I like Apple as a company. I'm not saying, don't want to say anything. I mean, there's fair criticisms, and I don't mean to like pile on or do anything like that. I think it's super interesting. We'll see how it goes. And I'm a huge fan of Apple, Microsoft, Google, like all those companies. I am. So I'm sorry you asked for my quick thoughts. Those were kind of my quick thoughts, because I could probably talk about it for a lot longer. Corfy, hint equals computers. Yeah, I like that. That's a good hint. Something about computers. I think that's what my next video would be. Yeah. Keycloak, Takano, yeah, man. You've been going after this Keycloak. Yeah, Keycloak is on my list. Yeah, Dale Kurt. Yeah, it's on my radar. Even more so now. I think Takano was trying to figure it all out in Discord. I think that was yesterday. It sounds interesting to me. It sounds awesome. I'm still not, I don't fully understand it. Like I said, like I went to it and looked at it for, maybe 60 seconds, and it sounds awesome. So yeah, maybe I'll dig into it, take a look at it and see what we can do. Same, I want to set it up. Awesome. Doesn't seem difficult. Yeah, I agree. I think the difficult part is going to be doing it right. For sure. But I just need more RAM, and that motherboard doesn't support it. Yeah, isn't that the worst when RAM gets me every time. Like, cause CPUs, you can get tons of cores on a CPU, but most motherboards now are going to give you 8 slots, and it's like, man, it gets expensive, to replace. Maybe you did, 4 gig DIMMs and you get 32 gigs, and it's like, okay, well, when you want to go to 64, you basically throw all those away and replace them all with some really expensive RAM. That's if your motherboard even supports 64 gigs of RAM. See, I'm with you. Like I like more RAM slots. Give me 8. Give me more than that, because I wanna upgrade over time and not just spend like a huge chunk of money just on RAM. Man, remember when RAM used to be cheap? Not anymore. It's like most expensive thing on when you start parting stuff out. People usually save that for last too. They're like, okay, and now I'm gonna put in 64 gigs of RAM, and you're like, holy buckets, $500-600. Oh, hey, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Fumosis, thank you so much. Resub Prime, 2 months, 1 month streak. Thanks for your support. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. And I'm sorry if you said something in the comments. I haven't gotten down there yet, but I'm getting there. I promise. It's just waiting to get filled. Yeah, I totally agree. Main reason why I do switch over is use DDR4 and has 4 slots instead of 2. Yeah, you're right ahead of me as I'm reading. It's just waiting to get filled. Yeah, I totally agree. I'd buy a board with 8 slots if I could, because like I said, it's a lot cheaper to buy, smaller DIMMs and spread those out. Jeez. Hey, let me pronounce this right because it's Japanese. It's Kuroi Kage. Kuroi Kage-san, domo arigatou gozaimashita. Kuroi Kage-san, 132 has subscribed for Prime. Thank you so much. Man, and Hype Train, I've never seen this before. So I guess Hype Train is a thing. I've never seen it, but it just went off. So thank you, and really appreciate it. Hopefully, yeah, I'm so behind in comments, but I'm getting there. Toast Face Grill, I'm 2/3 of the way there. Awesome. And I have wow. Gorfy, gifted. Oh, Penguin Airlines. Dude, Gorfy, thank you so much, man. You really don't have to. Seriously. Like, yeah, like I said, just like hanging out is more than I can ask for. So thank you. I appreciate it. Where was I? And you have a 45U rack now? Oh my, 45U is like, that's to the ceiling. That might be taller than me, and I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'5", so that's a pretty big rack. I mean, that's data center tall. That's awesome. I see them, and I'm just like, man, if I had one of those, I would go crazy. I would mount like things that don't even need to be mounted in there. I would mount monitor. I'd have like a monitor at the top because I'm tall, and I'd just be like, well, this is going to take up 6U. Just bolt some monitor on there because I couldn't find anything else to put in there. But that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Techno Tim, have you set up startup delay on Proxmox? Absolutely, I have. Absolutely, I have a startup delay on my Proxmox. So real quick, the way I have it set up, since I have most things virtualized, when it starts up, the very first thing to start up, besides the server, of course, my startup order is my network firewall. That's first and foremost because that needs to be up and get on the internet, get on the internet, and DHCP needs to be running for the rest of the machines that are going to come up. So that's the first one, network firewall. So if you use pfSense, Sophos XG, OpenSense, Entangle, whatever you use, first thing. Next thing I spin up is my Freenas server, because my Freenas server hosts storage for a lot of things that will come up and expect it to be there. Wow, X-Beast with a gun. Thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I just got an emote, so I'm going to send that out. Thank you so much. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Thank you so much. So number 2, well, thank you again for the sub. So the second thing I boot up is Freenas because, like I said, it has tons of volume, so I let that boot up. And I put a good 60 to 45 seconds in between each boot up because I need to make sure that the previous one is up before that. And then next I have 2 Rancher servers. So I have an internal and external. So internal one hosts my Pi-hole and a bunch of other internal services that will, and it's on a totally different VLAN or subnet. And it runs internal infrastructure services. So that's number 3. If that's not up, things aren't getting DNS and things won't work. So that's number 3. So I spin that guy up and he spins up super quick. I mean, Ubuntu server spins up in a matter of 6-7 seconds. Shortly after that, Kubernetes, a Rancher will kick in and then spin up Docker and all those containers are up probably within 15-20 seconds. Within 30 seconds of that Ubuntu server, everything's up and running. Then I spin up my other Ubuntu server, which is public stuff in my DMZ that's totally physically and virtually separated from the rest of my network, and that spins up. And then after that, so there's one right after that then too, and it's my PVR stuff. So Blue Iris comes up shortly after that, but Blue Iris can't be up until Freenas is up because it uses its storage. Like most of my other things, like storage has got to be up. So yeah, that's the quick rundown. After that, it's just like whatever wants to boot up. After that, I think I have a random auto startup delay on stuff and it doesn't matter when they come up. But when it's all said and done, my whole entire infrastructure, I can reboot it and be back up in about 4 or 5 minutes. Seems like a long time, but I think half of that time is my Dell server, like doing its RAM checks takes forever, but go ahead and do it because it's nice to have. But when you're waiting on it, it's not so nice. Anyways, yeah, hope that helps. In Discord, I'd love to share the exact numbers and times. I'm not in there, but I'll post some screenshots. I mean, I'm not in there now and that content's not there, but yeah, just ping me in Discord. I'd be glad to share my thoughts on how things should start up. And I've had automatic startup for almost every hypervisor I've ever owned. And I will say this over and over again, ESXi did it better. They did it better because ESXi will actually, you can have an option where you don't start, the next device or next virtual machine until the previous one has actually contacted ESXi through their guest agent, which is awesome. I wish Proxmox would do it too. So that you could say, hey, just whenever the agent comes up, you know, skip timers. When the agent reports that it's healthy, start up the next one. And that's awesome. You can still get into a jam though. You could still get into the big whole startup storm, you know, because the agent could come online, and now Windows has delayed services. If you did that 4 times and had 4 Windows machines all coming up, most of them have delayed services for what, 2 minutes or roughly, and then all the services start up. So you got to kind of tweak it and play with it. But yeah, good question. Love to talk about that because I've been doing that for a long time. Dang. Mimosas, hey, thanks for the bits. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's awesome. That's awesome that my Mega Man still work. I spent so much time on those a while ago, getting them the right color. Who knows what's going on with my Pi back there. Should show Mega Man. I was troubleshooting it like earlier today, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. For some reason, only Mario shows up, at least for my Twitch stream. But yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Famosis. Kind of got the Amada controller up and running and Guacamole up and running, and it both works super well now. Yeah, Guacamole looks pretty awesome. So that's like a kind of a launch pad into your infrastructure to then remote into other systems. Looks super cool. I definitely want to try it out for sure. Home Lab New, you're talking to ZR3. Bosmac, I just bought 3X old micro PCs from Lenovo. I've seen those pretty popular on the internet right now. The smallest ones, it has an i3, 4 gigs of RAM. It's cheaper than buying 3 Raspberry Pi 4s, 4 gigs, and I plan to expand to 16 gigs on one of those bad boys. One of the questions I have myself is, should I run a hypervisor and have it run my Kubernetes clusters or just install it directly? Yeah, that's a great question. So do you run, you know, Kubernetes bare metal, or so Rancher bare metal, or do you virtualize? Do you run a hypervisor bare metal, and then do you virtualize the OS and install Rancher? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's really going to boil down to you. Like, do you see yourself running anything other than Rancher on those machines? Or do you see yourself running anything other than, you know, Kubernetes or that one service? Because if you don't, then I would say, man, go bare metal. You know, if you plan on building, you know, a cluster for Kubernetes or anything like that, and you absolutely will never use anything in Proxmox or virtualize it, yeah, you could go bare metal for sure. Craven, free sub, 3 months. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. But one of the benefits of still running a hypervisor, even if you're just going to run, you know, one VM underneath it, is you get the benefits of backups and snapshots and all of that great stuff. So you get, you know, you can image, you know, you can take a snapshot so you can revert back to, or you can actually, you know, do a full backup image of that virtual machine. So some of the benefits there, I think you're kind of gonna have to feel it out yourself. You know, adding a hypervisor layer does add some, you know, a little bit of overhead, but for the most part, there are a lot of benefits that come along with it too. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be up to you, but me personally, I probably would throw Proxmox on it, because it's like I said, super easy to back up, easy to take snapshots, you know, and then if you're like, oh, you know what, you know, Kubernetes wasn't the thing, Rancher wasn't the thing, you know, I'm gonna install Portainer on it instead. I mean, then you just don't have to reformat the whole machine. You just delete that VM, create a new VM, or whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. I like hypervisor, at least for my servers. Most of my servers have always had a hypervisor on them. Very few times did I have, you know, an OS. You know, I've had an OS that's running a hypervisor, just because it's so flexible for anything you want to do. Home Avenue. Oh, I'm not sure what that O was to. Oh, I think it's ZR3. Oh, maybe. Takano might just be up to the CPU limiting, to be fully honest. Okay. Penguin hairline. Whoa, Penguin Airlines. I almost said Penguin Hairlines. I'm like, what does that look like? You like mine? Project Mini Micro, aka you watch Serve the Home. Yeah, exactly. When I said I saw those on the internet, I was like, totally Serve the Home. Yeah, for sure. Wasn't Serve the Home like used to be the like Windows Home server like forums? Is that where its roots were? Because man, I love that. I love that forum. That was kind of back in the day too, but I was a huge fan because I ran Windows Home server for a while, and I totally forgot I even ran it too. That was just like my you know, it's like a small business server for home. It's not a product anymore, but it was great because it wasn't like Windows XP or Windows, you know, whatever 7 that was comparable at the time, and it was great because it was a server OS, but it was kind of consumer friendly. It was easy to set up shares. Not that it was that hard, but you know, setting up shares in Windows, I'm still like, oh my gosh, like what permissions? Like what? I gotta share it, and then NTFS, and what is advanced sharing anyways? Not that I don't do it, because I do it all the time, but I always have to take a second look. Bosmac, okay, that's going to Techno. You were saying I may update to the i5 later, but the i3 is 24 count 4 thread. Want to see how it perform. Yeah, I'm all for like getting away with the minimum amount, not minimum, but a little bit over the minimum for sure. Because yeah, I don't know. I'm a huge believer in like getting a good value out of your stuff. And my value might be spread over time. You might just, hey, I want 24 cores because I don't want to ever upgrade this thing. You know, I don't want to upgrade this thing for 5 years. But you know, your value might say, well, hey, I only need 4 cores because you know I'm running a small workload. So yeah, whatever that means to you. But I'm a huge fan of just like just enough with a little bit of headroom. Everybody has a monopoly. Everybody has a monopoly in their own story. Yeah, I totally agree. Yep. And I mean, I'm not saying that they do. I mean, they kind of do. But that platform has a monopoly for an app store. And that's what I think a lot of people argue. I mean, Windows, you know, you can install through the Windows Store, you can install from a website, and I'm sure there are third-party app stores, you know, for Windows that you can just go and install stuff you want. And I think that's what people want, you know, and Mac OS is starting to go the same way with their app store too. So yeah, but yeah, yeah, I see it both ways. No, it's for each virtual machine to start in order ahead of the previous one. Yeah. Yep. I do have it in order. I think I explained that order to you. Like Firewall, order 1, delay. Order 1, delay 300. This means that it's first to boot and waits 300 seconds before starting another VM. Yes. I'll have to fact check because I always get confused there. I don't remember if that means it's 300 seconds before the next one or I'm waiting 300 seconds. Someone's gonna have to fact check on that. But I can never remember and I have to look it up. And you know, once I set my boot order, I don't look at it again. Because most of my workloads are like, okay, well, like I know the first 3 or 4 things to start up, but I think you're right. I think Netflix and Amazon pay 15% instead of 30% they charge everyone else. Yeah, that's interesting, and that's it's interesting. Like, why can they? Like, I get it. They're a big company and a lot of money pumps through there, but sounds a little unfair. And, you know, especially for Epic too. I'm sure a lot of money's going through there with V-Bucks, you know, for sure. Bosmac, actually, I didn't know the channel. I would check it out. Oh yeah. I Serve the Home. I can't remember if he's the same guy that used to run. So Serve the Home also has a YouTube channel, which has a forum. And I think, maybe I'm misrecalling, but I think that Serve the Home used to be the Windows Home Server forum. And then he changed to Serve the Home. I totally could be wrong, but I think, I'm not sure. Somebody fact check that on me. They're saying all kinds of stuff. Wow, 30 viewers right now. Yeah, is that what it's up to? Yeah, it is pretty awesome. I have the number. I try not to look at the number and I try to, yeah, anyways. But yeah, it is kind of blowing my mind. It's happening so fast, but I appreciate it. I try not to look at the number. Everyone says, don't look at the number and don't show it. But my Stream Deck has it, and I should totally take it off because I look down at it, and then I always want to present the same content, whether no one's here or whether lots of people are here. It's kind of hard though if no one's here and no one's talking because I like my stream to be interactive. So as long as I have 1 or 2 people talking, I'm gonna be the same whether it's 1 or 2 or 200, because yeah, I want my stream to be interactive. So yeah, pretty awesome. Techno Tim LL X undefined in my sub count in the list on the top right. Is that right? Undefined? That's not my fault if it is. It's way too small for my eyes. But hey, that's all Streamlabs or Stream Elements right there, or Twitch. But yeah, hey, I don't blame them. I have bugs in my code. I had to pull a piece out. Well, it wasn't my fault, but my code had a bug in it too. And when I finally got some help debugging it, I think from Gorfy, ended up that whatever parameter in there, or the key value on the object wasn't even there to begin with. And so I'm trying to thank someone for how many subs they just gifted, but that message never came from Twitch. And maybe they're having the same thing right now. I don't know. But yeah, I should, yeah. I don't see the undefined though, but I can't get that close to the screen in my eyes, my glasses. Anyways, I'll definitely check it out, but I'm pretty okay with people having bugs in their code, because I have bugs in my code too. Takano Guacamole is the one I was figuring out in Discord. Yep, got it working using a custom Docker image. Can't talk today. Yeah, it sounds awesome. And I think the way I understand it, so Guacamole is like this front door or gateway to be able to remote into the rest of your infrastructure, which looks really cool, right? You don't need to install whatever TeamViewer or whatever you use to remote into all the individual things. Guacamole could be that launch pad for you so that you can get remote access to Guacamole, and then from there it can remote into all the other machines for you. So it sounds awesome. Sounds like something I would like and I'm looking for, because I have 2 or 3 machines here, that Windows machines, that I do have to check on or kick or or do something to every now and then. And my solution has been just, my solution currently is VPN and then RDP for Windows, and then for non-Windows it's VPN then SSH. But Guacamole does look awesome. I've been enjoying following your your story or your journey in Discord. I like it. It's super fun to follow, because I'm thinking right there with you, oh yeah, okay, try this or not try this, or it's I get to live vicariously through you testing all this software, because I didn't have time to look at it, but it looks awesome. Fumosa's, hi Tim, I just popped in to say hi. Hello. I think I said your name a few times. Yep. How are you? Definitely good to see your name again, and thanks again for the bits. ZR3, does it not work? How? Don't understand. I don't know what that comment was in response to. And I know that Twitch has threaded conversations right now. Might work good on the receiving end, but for me, it's just I see this little thin stream of text that says you're replying to, wait, does it not work? Yeah, it's super confusing, at least for me, to look at the threads. Not to say you shouldn't use them. Use them if they work for you. It's just I haven't figured out, how they work, at least for me. Sorry, are you having problems with it? Oh, this is still that conversation. Yeah. Skipping down here a little bit. Whoa. Hey, that's the right pronunciation too. I am really far behind. I apologize. I'll try to catch up. So that was Kuroikage-san. Kuroikage-san. I think you said you're in Japan now, if I remember correctly. You are from the US, but you're in Japan currently working in fintech. Man, if I remember that, man, I'm better buy a lottery ticket. But yeah, hope you're doing well. Haha, reading behind and talking through filling dims instead of views. All good, but made me laugh. Yeah. ZR3. Oh man, you guys are going on troubleshooting this machine. I love it. This way each machine turns on individually instead of booting all at the same time. Yep, and the delay. Yep, exactly what I was talking about. I do delay, so I would recommend delaying instead of starting them all up at once. It's the whole like startup storm that you kind of want to avoid when you virtualize stuff, because you know, you start up 5-10 machines all at once, it's going to be slow, or things might not work or respond properly, or you know, whatever, because you're sharing, you know, it's most likely going to be IO from disk, unless you got, you know, a really good array set up. But most of the time it's going to be disk IO. So I stagger them, always stagger them. Some I stagger because they depend on others. Hey, XLRVIII. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Most of the time I stagger them because they're dependencies. So I stagger them because the previous or the next system depends on the first system, at least for some things. But if not, I would still recommend doing staggering, because just so you don't have the crazy startup storm, especially with Windows stuff. And then you get kicked in the gut twice on Windows. Well, you get a small punch in the beginning, and then like 2 minutes later with all their delayed services, when those kick in, that's worse than the startup now. But I get why they did it. They want Windows to be, you know, functional fast. And so they're like, okay, remove most things from startup, start to Windows, you know, within 5 seconds, log in another 2, and then you're on your desktop and you can launch a browser. It's probably what you're going to do, or Explorer. But then sure enough, about a minute and a half later, all those services that are under delayed start are going to start kicking in. If my Windows startup knowledge is still correct, because it's been a while. I'm going to catch up. I'm going to catch up for sure. So great to see all the support your content deserves. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. No, I do it for fun. I do it. I do it because I like it. I do it because I'm learning. And to be honest, like, I've been doing this kind of stuff like my whole life. Like, it's sounds, I mean, not that I'm that old, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I've never really been able to share it with other people. It's been me, you know, in my basement, or me in my living room or kitchen or whatever. You know, I'm building a server, you know, on my coffee table for myself, well, for other things. But you know, it's until this channel and Reddit and Twitch, obviously the YouTube channel, that I realized that, hey, there are like lots of other people out there doing similar things who are interested in things that I'm interested in. So yeah, it goes both ways for sure. Like, you know, I thank you guys so much for like coming out, because yeah, it means a ton. It does, because like I said, like I've been doing this for a long time and just haven't really been able to connect with a ton of people who also do this, who are also interested. You know, lunch conversations at work and stuff, we're always just kind of like, hey, I'm building this server or doing this thing, and everyone has their own interests, but I never could relate with a lot of, you know, the people I had lunch with or were my coworkers or stuff like that, because they didn't do this kind of stuff. So it's super interesting and super awesome that people are here too, for sure. Funny how I found it. I was up at 1 a.m. At the home lab post from a month ago. Guacamole, yeah, that's all. You were just like scrolling through, looking for new services. That's kind of how I feel too. That's how I feel every time I go to Linux Server IO. I'm like, oh, any new Docker containers? Oh, I remember that one. Oh, yeah, here's one. Oh, nice. But yeah, I feel that same way. I've always been that way too, with even plugins too, for you name it, or, you know, modifications to games. I've always been that way. Like, I go so crazy, you know, down the rabbit hole of every modification or every plugin. I mean, even WordPress plugins for a long time. I'm like, yep, I want it. Yep, want it. Yep, I want it. And that's kind of how I feel with Docker containers now. I'm just like, okay, yep, I want that. Okay, maybe I can do something with that later. It's just that whole, like, you know, kind of app or a plugin or a mod feel that I've loved for so long. Wow. Techno and for Guacamole, I set up RDP wrapper on my machine, which allows multiple users to connect to the same machine over RDP. Nice. Potentially letting friends use it at school due to restrictions being hardcore and not letting us use simple software. Yeah, I hear you about school and things getting locked down. It's also great when you travel. That even like setting up a VPN at your own home too is great when you travel. Not just for privacy, but for like Netflix, because if you ever go outside the country, everyone has different Netflix, even Canada. When I was in Canada for a while, I VPN'd into my apartment at the time and watched Netflix through there because I could watch all the same shows. But yeah, those super awesome once you get VPN or a secure way to connect back to your infrastructure at home, and then you can do some awesome stuff. Guacamole sounds like a good fit too. Seagore01, used workstations are good for this. I just bought an HP Z600 with 24 threads and 48 gigs of RAM for like $250. That sounds like a super great deal. Works great with Proxmox too. Heck yeah, that sounds like a great deal. 24 cores or threads. Hey, Win KVVN. Hey, thanks for rating my channel. Welcome everybody from Win. I think it's Win KVVM. N at the end. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for rating my channel. Welcome. I'm Techno Tim. I talk about tech and talk about home servers and talk about home labs and networks and services you can run at home. But welcome. Thanks for the raid. Really appreciate it for those just joining. But yeah, going back to that, like that sounds like a super good deal. I mean, 24 threads, awesome. So probably 12 cores plus hyper-threading, 48 gigs RAM. That's awesome. Hey, Win KVVM, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Sounds like a great deal. ZRP3 waits 300 seconds before others to start. Yeah, that's 5 minutes. That'll do it. That should do it, depending on what it is. Yeah, that sounds like it'll work. At Techno Tim, so it boots up and then delays the next startup for 300 seconds. Gotcha. I see. So the 300. Gotcha. So it boots and then adds a wait after it goes for 300 seconds. Awesome. Thanks for the clarification on that. Kuroi Kage, you were right, LOL, living in Japan, and you're an American. Great memory there. Okay, so Kuroi Kage-san, yeah, good to have you here. Welcome from, I don't know if you said you're in Tokyo, but from Japan. Japan, if you're in Tokyo, what, it's like 10 in the morning there? So yeah, morning stream for you. I think. Thank you for the follow. Oh, I already said that. XLRVIII. I'd love to pronounce that one a little bit easier. If you have a nickname you go by, or there's a way to pronounce that that's easier than how I attempt to say it, yeah, let me know. Toastface Grilla, similar story. I'm trying to talk to my mates about it as I go. They have no interest, LOL. Don't blame them though. That's why I like it here. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't blame. Yeah, when I said that, there's nothing against everyone else's interest or what they're interested in. I mean, most people want to talk about what they're interested in. And so if they're not interested in it, hey, that's totally fine with me. But I'm the same way. It's like, it's so nice to be able to talk about these kind of things. Cause even like, I've never had like even close friends who are remotely interested in this type of thing. Family kind of, sort of, and I help with it. But yeah, no one's gone this far. A couple buddies though, at a place I worked at, would bounce ideas off of me. And it was a really good insight into, into some of the videos I should make, because he would ask me questions. What do you use for this? How do you do this? How'd you set this up? What are you using? It's usually, what do you use for this now? And so those types of questions were really good. And it was really, helpful for me to make my content, because it was like, yeah, these are like legit questions that people ask me. What do you use now for this? It usually comes up, whether it's hardware or software, all the time. Mew 0717 have been running a Mac Mini with Plex. Nice. That's a great not even a first machine. That's a great little machine for a lot of stuff. Started using Docker and Ubuntu VM on that Mac, running Home Assistant and discovering cool new services all the time. Your content has been awesome and really helpful. Would love to surprise my wife with a proper server. All right, any suggestions to start with? Wow, that's a tough one. I think, so I have, and not to cop out, but I have some recommendations in my panels below. Might not be the best for you, but it really depends on what you're trying to do. For me, it looks like you're trying to do some Plex stuff, so probably some transcoding. So it looks like you're gonna need some CPU, pretty decent CPU, and then lots of storage, because you're probably gonna have a lot of media. And so for something like that, especially I don't know if you plan on racking it or not, but you don't have to. You know, I would start out with something like in the Ryzen series. Like if you want to go like, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say budget, a good value. You could go Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, something in the Ryzen series to get a really good value. You know, throw in something like 16 gigs of RAM, maybe 32 if it's, you know, not too expensive, and then hard drives. You're probably going to want some SSDs for your OS or VMs, right? And then you're going to want some slower spinning Rust, just big hard drives for media. I don't know how much media you have now, so that's all going to depend. And then, so since you're already doing some of this, I mean, you could choose to go down. I mean, if you plan on only doing Plex only, or let me take this back. If you only plan on doing Ubuntu only for your Docker, you know, runner, I guess, I mean, you could totally do what you're doing on a newer machine. You take Ubuntu, you install bare metal, and then you install Docker and get your containers and you're up and going. Or if you want to explore some more, since you will be building a little bit of a beefier machine, you could check out Proxmox or any hypervisor, install the hypervisor on top of that, and then you could have one of your guests be Ubuntu server with Docker or Portainer or Rancher or anything running on that, along with maybe running some other workloads. But I mean, this kind of goes in the conversation I was talking earlier. If you're only, you know, if you only plan to run, you know, that one workload, which is all your Docker containers, you know, do you really need to put a hypervisor in between? And I think that's going to be up to you. Me personally, I do, because that gives me tons of possibilities. If I want to spin up, you know, like I did a couple weeks ago, Pop! OS and see what it's all about. I want to spin up Ubuntu. I want to spin up whatever, Debian, Windows, any other system, I can on that hypervisor. And so that's personally what I do, because it, you know, a lot of flexibility, but not necessarily what you have to do. So I know I probably asked more questions than answered, but hopefully that gives you some ideas. And if not, you know, let me know. And then, like I said, if not, I have some gear links below, but they're totally, you know, I'm a huge fan of like using what you have first, but it seems like you want to build something new. So if you are going to build something new and you are, you know, value conscious or budget conscious, you know, Ryzen's are a great value. Most of my stuff is Intel, but that's not to say that Ryzen's aren't freaking awesome right now, and AMD isn't hitting home runs right now. And I would love for an excuse to build a Ryzen system. So hope that helps. Let me know if it didn't. Maybe by the time I get back to catch up on the comments, you'll let me know. But hope that helps. Well, welcome to the channel, Mew. I hope that helps. Oh, there was the win raid. Oh man, win KVVN raid. Hey, oh man, you have great emojis. Oh man, wolf face. Okay. Oh, desktop computer. Oh, okay. These are ones that come with it. Floppy disk. Antenna bars. Yes, I'm sorry I missed the raid comments. I'm kind of caught up, so I can see them now. So I apologize. Win KVVN. I missed your awesome emojis. I was just catching up on comments. That's kind of my thing. People ask questions, want to talk about things, and since they've taken the time to put a comment in, I feel like I'm going to take the time to respond to it. So I apologize if I missed your comments. So I'm just now getting it to you. Appears to be a fellow sysadmin. Hey, at one point I kind of was a sysadmin. And you're a sysadmin. What systems do you administer? I administer a lot of things at home now, far less than I used to, and but far greater, I think, responsibility now at home, because I run a ton of infrastructure for a lot of different services and a lot of code, right? So really, I'm currently I'm a software developer. I'm a software engineer. A lot of my infrastructure supports my home for different things, whether it be media, security, ease of access, you know, file backing up, a lot of operational stuff for my computers here, or our computers here. But then there's a whole nother set of workloads I run that help support some of the apps I've made, the services I write, the bots I write, communities I help manage, A lot of the infrastructure then runs here too. So I'm like I feel like I'm a home sysadmin. I always say like I'm a try-hard sysadmin. I did some system administration at one point in time. So early in my IT career, I was straight up IT. I've done tech support. I've done, sysadmin stuff, network admin stuff. But then transition and a lot of automation stuff, but then transition more into software development. So I'm kind of, my infrastructure, knowledge is it's not as great, I guess, as my software developer knowledge. Not that that's even that great. But at the same time, then I got heavily involved with a lot of DevOps stuff. And so I feel like DevOps just totally like reignited, a lot of my passion for infrastructure and system administration, because I could do a lot of it in software. So yeah, this whole, CI/CD stuff I've been doing for a long time, like totally reignited, my love and respect for infrastructure for sure. And so yeah, so I'm kind of all over the place. I love technology. That's one thing that's for sure. Anything from apps to games to servers to you name it. I'm all over anything that's awesome. I try to be all over it, but I don't know everything, that's for sure. Addict C, win raid, welcome. I don't understand any of those words, but cool. Yeah, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. Toastfish Grill, it's accelerate, XLR, 8 Roman numerals. Oh, I like it. XLR. Oh, accelerate. Yeah, Toastface. Thank you so much. It was all lowercase, and that's what throws me off. Juan 71287. Thank you so much for the follow. Accelerate. Yeah, I gotta look at this one again, because that I gotta look at it again. XLR. Oh yeah, totally is. Accelerate. I got it. Dude, thank you so much, man. I've been calling them XLR VIII. I figured the VIII was Roman numerals for 8, but then I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then I hate to make assumptions, so I try not to make assumptions, so then I just say like the most, I guess, obvious thing ever. But yeah, awesome. ZRPT, hey, did you install the theme yet? Haha, no, I didn't. And that's so awesome that you shared that. So I think you're talking about the Proxmox Start theme that's based on, that looks like Discord, which I really like Discord's theme. It's this muted kind of gray with a little bit of purple. It's like all kinds of shades of gray and dark mode. No, I haven't done it yet, but I will definitely check it out. I will check it out for sure. And maybe it'll be in some of my new Proxmox videos. Because yeah, I think Takano mentioned this too in Discord, like, man, Proxmox screen, not having dark mode, it just like burns my eyes, especially at night. It's one of the few like pure white, like let all the blue light through, screens that I look at. That and Gmail. But yeah, for sure. I'll definitely check it out. Looks awesome. And I love that I saw like commits recently too, because when I go out and look at repos, I'm always like, okay, when was the last commit? Okay, pretty recent, and that one I think was super recent too. And I saw like a lot of the files hadn't changed in 2 years. Now, I always scan on GitHub. 2 years, 9 months, 14 days ago. Sweet. That's kind of my litmus test to, is this thing still being used? Is when was the last commit? And that one had one. So it's so awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Win. Okay. So Win KVVN. Is that a Kevin? I don't want to pronounce acronyms, but I know it's Win, but then it's KVVN. I used to manage some on-prems, but right now I take care of an Office 365 tenant. Nice. So it's all cloud. I'm a software engineer at my daily job. Nice, man. And managing Office 365 stuff. That's super sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. DevOps is where software engineers and sysadmin come together for sure. I totally agree. And yeah, and then and that's why I don't know if you've seen my channel or anything, but I talk a lot about Rancher, which gives me Kubernetes. And a big reason why I like Kubernetes is because that's how I deploy software to the public cloud or our work cloud, which is GCP. Google Cloud Platform or any cloud, and even internal clouds at big companies I worked at, they used Kubernetes. So that's why I'm all over Rancher, because it's like same ideas and same workflow for deploying code in my CI pipeline. So yeah, super awesome. Last commit is also really important if you're running anything from Arch. Okay, same deal where old packages will break your system. Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Hey, there was a Hoodsum. Hey, thank you so much for the follow. Good name too, Hoodsum. Like it. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Yeah, I totally agree. That's what I always do. And then Docker containers, I look at the last time, when tags were updated or when latest were updated. I'm always like that. I mean, not to say that something is stale is not good, but in a world like we live in now, like, I don't know, if code packages are older than 6, 7, 8 months, you got to wonder, okay, is this, might still be good, but is it still being maintained? Just because it's an awfully long time for code not to have anything updated to it. But, this is coming from me, and I push code all day long at work. I mean, I'm 30, 40, 50 commits or something, combined with work and personal stuff. Put some haha, thanks. Just saw you on YouTube video of yours. Thank you. Love the content. Really straightforward. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem at all. Try to be straightforward. My Twitch stream is a little less straightforward. This is a little bit looser. So welcome. Usually on my stream, we just kind of talk and chat about whatever. Usually tech. Usually things we're interested in. Cool things people are working on. Questions people have from, may have from any of my videos. And so, yeah, if it's, colored lights back there, that means, hey, anything goes. Because I usually try to keep a little more, I wouldn't say professional, but a little more, on par with whatever I'm talking about on YouTube. Because I know that's when people, people come here to hang out and ask questions. People don't go on YouTube to hang out. They, what I found is people go there for answers. And so I try to give answers as quick as I can with as much context as I can to explain the topic. And sometimes very little context. Sometimes I realize I'm like, whoa, just, do this. But I don't know. But I appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping in. Thank you for the follow so much. Yeah. Takano, school restrictions suck. Yeah. I had bought a domain for some project and I went with .xyz and they auto block all .xyz domains. Yeah, that's silly. That's I don't know. I have no idea why you would block all XYZ domains, I have no idea. It sounds like to me someone that manages their firewall was like, we can block this one, we can block this one, check, and just started checking checkboxes, not thinking about it. Who knows? They might have good reason, but that's like saying like, you know what, this new .io, what would they have done if a school blocked a .io using that same, methodology? Like, ooh, this .io domain, don't know about it. What are we gonna do? Might as well block it until we know it's gonna be on .io. Well, you know what? You just blocked half of the world's top tech companies and all of Silicon Valley, so who knows? Yeah, I have no idea, but yeah, when I see things like that, I honestly think it's just like fear of the unknown of, what might pop up on there. But who's to say something bad's not gonna pop up on a .com? But yeah, anyways. Yeah, well, good points. Oh man, PvE dark mode. This is great. Yeah, I totally agree, Work Ninja. Yeah, I saw that one today in Discord and I was like, what? Where has this been? Like, I've been, burning my eyes. Like all of this white and blue light has just been shooting my eyeballs for like years now. And then that was shared. But yes, totally agreed. Takano, is it considered an unsafe domain or untrusted? Yeah, but that could be anything though. Yeah. I get it that they're saying it's unsafe or untrusted, but yeah, it's crazy, So could any.com that anyone buys. Put some, yep, went for answers, but figured I'd swim by. Love talking tech. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I totally do for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, it's super fun. And I love that people show up. It's like, yeah, people who are interested in this type of thing can, yeah, talk about whatever they want to talk about for sure. Sigor, possibly an accept.com.gov.net and deny all. I see. But yeah, not a good idea. Yeah, that's a good call. They probably just have an allow list, and from that allow list creates the, block any list. You know what I mean? The opposite of the allow list. Yeah, I totally agree. Takano, I'm just going to buy a .com and call it a day. They cost like $8 a year. So yeah. Do they allow .org? Because I might have something coming for you. There's the hint. There's the hint about this this weekend's video that's coming out on Saturday. Yeah. So yeah, Takano. Yeah, I mean .coms. It's kind of all over the place. Like I used to buy .coms from I don't know who, but then switched to Google domains, and Google domains end up costing more. They get you kind of cheap on the first one, then renewals are so much more, and it's like, okay, am I gonna switch my registrar for $6 difference? Maybe not, but jerks, why are you charging me $6 more than you did last year? But yeah, how much did you buy the XYZ? $2, so not a lot. Okay. Can you talk about your disk shelf? Oh, okay. Why did you choose a JBOD and control it with a VM? And genuinely interested in your thought process and your decision. Much thanks. DZ, yeah, no problem at all. So, yeah, so good question. Why did I go with that disk shelf? Okay, so it's a long story, but I saw that disk shelf popping up on different YouTubers' videos. It was popping up. Wendell was doing it with Gamers Nexus, and then I think Wendell kind of helped Snazzy Q or Quinn from Snazzy Labs. And then Bitwit had a video, and I don't know if YouTube's algorithm was like, this dude seriously wants a disk array. Well, I was searching for that model too. And so it was popping up everywhere, mainly because I was feeding the machine, the algorithm, what I wanted to see, and it was showing me more of it. And so I thought, okay, if I can get one of these relatively cheap, so I had a couple of options. First thing, I ran out of storage. So I bought a Dell R710. It came with 6 2 terabyte SAS drives, and I had those set up in RAID 10, RAID 1+0. Someone yelled at me on the internet for RAID 10, but anyways, so I had those set up, and I had a decent, amount of storage. I was running out, and I was like, okay, what are my options? I could buy bigger drives for this R710, but I don't want to do that. Or I can build this whole entire another machine. But that got kind of expensive fast, because I was like, okay, gotta build a big machine. It has to have enough, drives, slots, and everything that comes along with building a new machine that can hold a lot of storage. And so I was like, I wanted to plan storage for a couple of years. And I knew that like my YouTube videos take a ton of storage. Like I think when I record 2 cameras, audio, desktop to recording, I'm 50, 60 gigs. A week, and that's just videos. And so, I was planning for a couple years out. I saw these disk shelves. I saw them popping up on eBay for $200-300, and I was like, "Hey, that's pretty cheap. If I could swing this for $200-300, along with the cables, which were another 40, I can make this work." And so that's what I did. I found, fortunately, how often do you go on eBay to buy something? Unless you live like in California, and the person selling the thing or the company is a couple miles away. Well, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, this is like 2 for 1. Like I don't have to pay for shipping on this monster, cage, this disk array. And 2, they were like, yeah, come out, check it out. If you want to pick it up, pick it up. So that's what I did. And so I talked to the folks there working there. They're really awesome. They're like, yeah, 30-day warranty, go ahead. So I got it really cheap. And then it can hold up to 24 drives. And so I didn't do just a bunch of disks on there. What I ended up doing was, and then, so that solved kind of my storage solution. Then I had to figure out like, okay, am I gonna physically attach this to a brand new machine? Like, am I going to stand up a brand new machine to attach this disk shelf to? And I didn't really want to turn on another machine. Like, I have a Dell R710, has lots of cores, has lots of RAM. And so I thought to myself, like, hey, I'm just going to buy the card, and then I'm going to pass through that card to a virtual machine. Totally unpopular decision. I get it, but I'm all about, like, you know, consolidating hardware, making it work. But then also, I'll throw in there that when I pass through my HBA controller to the virtual machine, that virtual machine has full access to my HBA controller and all of the disks attached. So at the end of the day, only the operating system of Freenas is being virtualized. It has direct access to all of the disks there. So there's no abstraction in between. So I didn't have to, like, pass through individual drives or, like, do something crazy like create LUNs and then pass those LUNs through to my virtual machine. I passed the whole controller. And so the whole controller is now going to operate just like on a physical machine if I would have installed Freenas. And so, you know, and because I did that, I was like, hey, this is great. And then I will say, like, I totally, like, did not know what I was doing at all, you know, and I had to do a ton of research. I even reached out to Jeff from Craft Computing. I'm like, this guy knows his stuff when it comes to Freenas. Let me just DM him, see if he'll answer me. And he totally did. And I was like, hey, watch your shows, watch your videos. I just have a question about, you know, Freenas. And I saw his video, I think it was the combo server one. I was like, I kind of want to do something the same. I'm going to buy a disk shelf. You know, is this, you know, can I pass this HBA controller through? Or do I need to do something, you know, I don't want to do or crazy? And he, sharpshooter, just basically said, you can pass the HBA through, totally fine. Or you can pass each individual disk through, which would work fine too. And in this scenario, I wasn't going to do that, but I could do it. But I was like, sweet, I trust him, trusted judgment for sure. And then I did it. And I recorded that video around the same time then. And so, yeah, so I know that it's a, you know, it's a very unpopular decision to virtualize Freenas or TrueNAS. But that's because most people that are virtualizing it might not be doing it the way that I'm doing it. To where I pass through the hardware controller that connects to my disk array. And so my Freenas instance has direct access to all disks on there. And so I started out with 6. Why 6? It's all I could afford. So I bought 6 8 terabyte drives. I have them in a RAID Z2. I know there are, you know, faster ways to do this, but I set them up in a RAID Z2, and I have room to expand. So I have 18 now unoccupied slots for drives. And so, you know, my next pool I could set up. It's either one that I could, you know, do a local backup of that Z pool, or it could be another pool that I then have different data on. So yeah, so that's a really long answer to why I did it. But you know, I think that a lot of the times people right away dismiss virtualizing Freenas, but it's totally fine. If you do it the right way, totally fine. And on top of that, you know, Freenas or TrueNAS, IX Systems has documentation on how to virtualize the thing. So not even they're against it. They sell hardware though too. So obviously, you know, they want to sell you hardware. I totally get it. But at the same time, they also support virtualizing it too. They have documentation on it. So it's a little bit harder to find because it's under TrueNAS, but it's there. So anyways, that's a really long story on how I decided to go down that route. So I don't have just a bunch of disks, a JBOD array. It's a RAID Z2, so it's ZFS. HB controller passed through to a virtual machine, and that virtual machine's only responsibility is Freenas, and Freenas has direct access to all those disks. So yeah, hope that helps. Watched Devin Nash earlier. Like Devin, he's so smart. That guy is so smart, and he's so sharp too, and just witty and on it, and has such good topics. And he will, yeah. Anyways, I know who Devin is. Great topics. Watched a Devin Nash video earlier about how the only way to drive traffic was to host content on other social media platforms and drive those viewers here on Twitch. Just figured I would prove it works. And I'm going to that same school. And so, Devin Nash says it, Harris Heller says it, Sam Woodall says it. And so I'm going to the school of Devin Nash and Harris Heller and Sam Woodall puts them. So yeah, totally, 100% agree. 100% agree. The only way to grow, one of the ways to grow on Twitch is to grow on other social networks and point them back to Twitch, just because Twitch is not a discoverable platform. And so other platforms are more discoverable. And I probably sound verbatim like I'm repeating Harris Heller, but it's true. And so YouTube, Google has a search engine, has an algorithm, has a lot of keywords. People go there to search for answers. They transcribe your whole entire, video, and they suggest content. All that stuff is great for getting discovered. Twitch has none of that. And so yeah, that's a good call out. And for sure, I've been studying that from both Devin and Harris, and also Sam. And yeah, I'm trying to live that too, for sure. But yeah, good call out there. Good tie there with Devin too. I figured you would have said Harris or Sam, but yeah, Devin too. I watched Devin. He's awesome. He is awesome. Techno managed to get one website blocked. Was a game site that it made a computer class. Its max, it got 500 users at one time. Geez, 500 users? I don't know if I've had 500 users ever using any of my, I shouldn't say that. I have an app, but at one time, that's a lot, and that's awesome. That's how he ended up here too. Awesome. Yeah, that's my goal. I want to make VOD content, so video on demand content on YouTube, and I want to make live content on Twitch. And so this is the way that I kind of do it, and I think a lot of people are doing it this way. I think it's, I think it's definitely helpful. And a lot of people talk bad about YouTube's algorithm, and I'll be the 1% or less than 1% that I think it's great, because otherwise a lot of people wouldn't be here in Twitch. And think about that, like a YouTube algorithm recommending my content to people who have no idea who I was, whose channel didn't exist 9 months ago, then for them to come and join Twitch. So I love YouTube's algorithm. I know a lot of big YouTubers are like, oh, the algorithm, oh, it hates me. But I don't know. I like it. Who knows if I will in the future, but you know what? I feel like YouTube knows what they're doing. Google knows what they're doing. So I don't think sometimes when people complain about the algorithm, it's not the algorithm. I don't know what it is, but some signal they're taking for content, and whether, their algorithm basically tries to determine, did this person have a good experience on YouTube? What were they doing before they came? Was it a video from YouTube before? And what did they do afterwards? And did they feel satisfied? And those are all human questions, but I think Google's pretty good at answering human questions with AI in their algorithm. And so that's the things they look at. Those are signals to them, whether or not they should recommend content. There are probably tons of other signals, and I'm oversimplifying it, but I mean, this was what YouTube has said about their own algorithm. So anyways, going on forever about that. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, apparently the only way to drive viewership on Twitch, unless you're popular for something else in the world. Yeah, totally agree. Kind of interesting. Twitch really isn't friendly to new streamers. LOL. Yeah, I totally agree. I think I just probably talked a lot about what you were just talking about. A lot of the things that I've learned over the last 6 or 8 months. Yeah, it's just in general. Yeah, and to grow on one platform means to grow on all. There's no more just Instagram anymore. There's no more just YouTube anymore. Yeah, it's interesting. And not that I ever, knew that world before, but I've read a lot about it now. So Takano, the computer teacher, was fully on board with me running since I interested in him. That's awesome. Sadly lost all the data due to web host emails, got spam, never saw warning, getting deleted, free hosting. That stinks, man. Yeah, that totally stinks. Bandit 2137, there's a new one. Hey, I'm running a similar Freenas VM on Proxmox. All right, it's rock solid with an HBA pass-through, not a single issue. Thank you, Bandit. We're cut from the same cloth. Me too. Yeah, I think it runs great like that. And I think it runs fine as long as you set it up right. And like I said earlier, I probably rambled on too long. People hear virtualize Freenas, they automatically dismiss it. It's like, wait a second, like here's how I did it. Here's how I protected myself. Here's how my Z pool is exactly like your Z pool, you know? So yeah, I totally agree. You do it right, totally fine. Toastface Killer, I'm looking to switch to that same route. Yeah. So my storage array, oh, okay. So DZ, I think you're gonna ask something. So my next question is, do you just have one of the NetApp controllers managing those 8 disks? Need to expand my storage as well, as I've been debating doing a similar setup to get 12 bays, Supermicro, or run 2 VDEVs, TrueNAS. Do you just have one of those NetApp controllers managing those 8 disks? So the NetApp thing, it's big. You know, it's 4U, 24 drives, and it has 8466. I forget what the type of plug is, but I can totally message you after the stream for exactly what it is. It might even be in my gear links for my server. I think I have a link to exactly what I have. But anyway, I pass through that whole controller, so that whole controller has the ability to see every drive. And so I only have 8 drives populated, but can see up to 24. And so the card, the HBA controller that's in there can have 2 of those cables plugged in and see multiple arrays. But I only have 1 plugged in. So I don't know that I could divide up drives, and I probably could, but I wouldn't recommend it, is dividing up the drives that that Proxmox or my host would hand out. Like I said, I let my HBA control, I give my whole entire HBA controller to the VM, and at that point it has exclusive access to all those disks. If you do go the NetApp route, just know, like, hey, it's going to be used. Hey, it's antiquated and deprecated hardware, but it's great for home. It's great for expansion later on. And, you know, it's going to use some power. I don't know how much power off the top of my head. People like to ask, like, hey, what's your electric bill? You know, but it's not bad, but it uses a lot of fans. Like anything you get that you need to cool off 24 drives. I mean, I don't have 24 in there, but it's capable of cooling off 24 drives. So, and I've heard people, you know, swapping out the fans, getting different fans, doing different things to either save electricity or noise. But for me, I use it as is. So it's pretty good. But if you're going the Supermicro route, like with something new, yeah, it sounds like a good route too. You know, I was at a point where I needed it quick. It was very fortunate that the place also happened to be a couple miles from my home. And then at the same time, you know, I wanted to put the money that I was going to save on that into drives. And so, you know, I ended up getting 6-8 terabyte drives. And so the money that I saved on my disk array, you know, went into the getting higher capacity drives because ultimately I needed more storage. But I also think like there's a great aftermarket for these things. So if I change my mind, you know, 6 months, I'll definitely be able to get what I got out of it, maybe even more. So yeah, I don't know. Like to know what you end up doing for sure. Hey, Grimox. Thank you so much for the follow, appreciate it. Hoodsum, do you have any recommendations on streaming on Twitch versus another platform? I'm looking to start myself. I'm weighing which platform will get the best stream off the ground. Don't know if you have any general suggestions. I do, and I give me one sec. I do have some suggestions, and they're probably going to be the same ones that a lot of people have. And I wouldn't just trust my word. I would look elsewhere to form a very good opinion. If you want to, like, honestly, if you really want to get really good stream platform advice, check out Harris Heller, 100%, hands down. if you want to learn how to grow on social media, on Twitch, want to learn how to stream, want to learn about, kind of what it takes to stream, some of the equipment, Harris Heller and Alpha Gaming is a great resource, and I'll say that all day because they totally are. Huge community around Alpha Gaming. So I would definitely check out him. Now it used to be Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, no more Mixer. So now you have limited options. But personally, I've done the Twitch and YouTube thing because I think it's fun, for one, to be on two platforms. For just starting out on Twitch, it's super hard. I'm not gonna lie. And that's where Devin Nash, his advice comes from, which comes from Harris Heller too, which comes from Sam Woodall, which comes from a lot of people who are already successful on Twitch. And they basically say, if you wanna grow on Twitch, you have to grow on other social networks. You have to grow on other platforms, more discoverable platforms. And so that's kind of what I'm doing too, right? I make YouTube content for my video on demand, a little more produced, but I also have live content too. But as you notice, as you watch my live content, or my VOD content, my video on demand content, I reference my live content because Twitch isn't doing anything to promote my stream. It's all about me. Like if I want people to come to my Twitch stream, I gotta bang down doors. I gotta bake it into my content. I gotta put it into my social media. Whereas YouTube, you create content and people just show up, because they have an algorithm, they have a discovery mechanism, they have a way to push content to people. They know their customers, you know what I mean? They know what their customers are interested in, their customers being you, the viewer. And so Twitch does not have any of that. And so I would experiment if I were you. I would totally would. And if you want to stream, depending on what you're streaming, try them both. You can stream on, if you're not an affiliate or not a partner with YouTube or Twitch, you can stream on both at the same time. Use Restream. I know that Harris is totally against it, and I know that Devin Nash is all for it. I'm kind of all for it too in the beginning. If you haven't signed any contracts with anyone, stream to both, figure out which one works for you. Each has its own quirks, but each has its own audiences too, and each has its own benefits. And I know that doesn't help you, but really ultimately the choice is going to be up to you. It's going to be what you want, where you see growth. Find, I know people say, find your voice, but try to find, I hate to say that, but try to find your voice on either of those platforms. Find your niche, find what you like, and then find other people who are also interested in that. Cause I think that's the best advice I can give. I mean, that's how, people are here in the stream right now. Like if you would ask me, 4 years ago, are you going to talk about all the stuff you've been doing in, your basement or your bedroom, this sounds all weird now, but, building servers, building PCs, building Raspberry Pis, building networks, all of the super nerdy stuff you've done, your whole entire life, are you really going to talk about that? If someone would ask me, years ago, I would have said no way. Who wants to hear that? But the more I do it, the more I realize that there's so many more people out there that do similar things to me that are interested in this stuff, and so that's my other piece of advice, is make content, very focused content on what you're interested in. Playing games is, only on stream it's really hard to grow. I'm not gonna lie, unless you're playing super niche games, and you built up an audience who loves that game, or you're playing very interactive games where people know they can partake in the game you're playing or get to talk about the content you're creating as you're playing these games. It's hard to grow playing games. I streamed games for over a year, and it was good at first, and then not so good. And that's when I realized, hey, I'm doing all this tech stuff. I want to talk to people about it, and I want to document a lot of my stuff. And I totally just said, I'm not going to stream games anymore unless someone wants to play a game with me or something. So anyways, sorry, I'm going way too much on my, I guess not really strategy, just things I've learned. Again, it's these are things I've learned from streaming. These are things I learned from YouTube. I'll share them with anyone who asks. I mean, there are no secrets. because this is all, you know, very new and very raw too. You know, this is all new. I've been doing this for 8 months. If you ever do decide to create video content on YouTube too, something Harris said to a lot of people back in the day, and I highly recommend is, you know, make one video a week and stick to it no matter what. One video a week, release the same time every week. It helps. But yeah, anyways, so hope that helps. Hope that helps, Hudson. I'm Lymanson, 25 years, you deserve 100x. No, it's totally fine. This amount from YouTube views, no, it's totally fine. Like I said, I'm fine with 1 or 2. As long as there's someone to have a conversation with, yeah, I'm gonna continue to do it for sure. Sigor01, I have TrueNAS, virtualized like you do. So I just passed through the internal SATA controllers instead of PCIe, there you go. So SATA controllers, you pass the controllers too, so they have direct access to the disk. Awesome. Awesome. I'm Lymanson. Can someone hook me up with 10 Dell LFF drive caddies? Or you can get them without paying an arm and a leg? Yeah, story of my life. Use server gear is so expensive. So expensive. For sure, because they know everyone's doing servers at home, or they know people will pay the money. May ask a dumb question, but are you on eBay? Yeah, I'm Lymanson, and they are, but they're expensive. $6 for a hunk of plastic. Yeah, well, a hunk of metal is a lot more expensive. A hunk of metal is $100 for the rails, for server rails. Hudsum, appreciate the advice. My stream will include user interaction, so it's a little hard to run in different platforms without code. Okay, I'm not going to be doing anything generic. Awesome, sounds awesome. Looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, I totally agree that as long as you stay, yeah, true to what you're gonna do, I think people will come for sure. But if you are gonna, you know, yeah, I mean, you heard my spiel already, and you heard Devin Nash's. I would definitely listen to it again, and check out Harris too. He's got tons of awesome stuff at the Alpha Gaming channel. To upgrade to a Ryzen 7, total cost $423, $699, 16 gigs of RAM, 72 for the MOBO. I love that you say MOBO motherboard. Sorry, it totally just jumped. For the Proxmox build, and $283.55 for the CPU. Not bad, not bad. 24-hour stream. Gorfy, tell me about it. Yeah, this is longer than I usually go. I usually have a hard stop. I know I started a little bit late, but yeah, I totally agree. I am gonna have to start winding it down here soon. Which is interesting that someone raided me. I do feel like I should totally give the love back. I do feel like, and I'm hearing myself. Totally, oh my gosh, that was super weird. But I do kind of feel like I should share the love to someone too. Just as someone rated me today, I do forget sometimes to do this at the end, but I'm totally gonna do it. So yeah. So anyways, I'll get caught up on these comments. If you think old server stuff is expensive, then you do not know Synology. Yeah, even new server stuff, so expensive, right? So expensive. Toastbake Gorilla, Synology prices blow my mind. I don't get it at all. Yeah, it's like you're you're totally getting good hardware. You know, okay, I mean, pretty good hardware, and you're getting software too, and all the services. So you're kind of buying the subscription up front for everything you're going to run on it for the next couple of years. Synology is such a racket. I don't know enough about Synology. I know people have it, and like when people say they have them, like, sweet, okay, so that's awesome. You're taking care of backups. You're doing like cool things that you probably need to do, like, you know, NAS and backups. Awesome. But yeah, at the same time, I've never used it myself because I build my own everything. Hudson will do, thanks. Can't believe people are willing to pay $1K for a piece of junk. Yeah, I mean, you know, the folks that I've met personally who have Synologies, it's they want no fuss. They don't, you know, and this is not saying anything about them. I'm just saying like what they want out of the piece of hardware, what they want out of their $800-900 is, I want storage, I want a NAS, I want easy backups, I might want to run some apps, and I don't want to think about it, and I want it to run perfect every time. And so that's what I hear. You know, I mean, you could say the same thing about, you know, the convenience cost that's built into a lot of stuff, or the ecosystem cost that's bought you know, baked into a lot of the stuff we buy. But yeah, they are expensive because I have considered it too at some point. Synology is good, but not that good. Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I haven't run one. I've only seen price tags and I've seen specs, and it's hard to kind of judge just off price tags and specs when knowing they have, you know, an OS and kind of an ecosystem in there too. You're really paying for the software, but they do support their products for many years. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. You're buying your subscription up front, right? They know that no one's going to pay whatever $5 subscription for 4 or 5 years, you know. So they're like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to charge you whatever, so $5 a month, 6 months, or 6 years. That's a lot of money. So they must be charging $1 a month. I don't know what they're. Oh my goodness. I have no idea, but that is way. Okay, it's totally bots. Man, this is like the second time this has happened now. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is the second time this has happened now, and I have no idea. There's so many bots that just joined the channel. The funny thing is, it's even crashed my bot. Oh man, I totally should have went offline before that happened. Oh my gosh. Totally destroyed Stream Elements too. There is something to be said for a final piece of hardware that is overpriced, but there might be a price tag and peace of mind. Yep, your opinions matter too. I totally agree. Yep, totally agree. Just, you know, what are people willing to pay for? What are people willing to pay for? Yeah, for sure. Has anyone looked into running mail server at home? Now, I mean, I did way back in the day, and I heard there's even a Docker container mail server, but haven't looked into it. I know there are lots of folks, which is probably a good time to promote Discord. There are a lot of people in our Discord who have done a lot of different things and a lot of probably more interesting things than I've done. That's what I've learned too from community building too, is standing up this Discord server and seeing all of the awesome projects that people are working on. So yeah, I'm saying there's I mean, you know, there's a Discord community, a lot of people in there. I'm sure there are at least 10 people have hosted their own mail server. And I think that was even a topic of discussion earlier today, if I recall correctly. But anyway, yeah, I haven't since way back days. I ran Exchange, but then I was like trying to be, you know, Microsoft sysadmin, and I was like, oh, I got to stand up domain controller. Oh, I got to stand up DNS and a domain forest, and then I can do Exchange, and it was just way too much. So anyways, DZ got to run, but just want to say thank you for answering a few of my storage questions. Stoked for the Saturday morning tech videos. Stream on, bro. Yeah, for sure, man. Stream on. That's a good segue into me probably calling it a night. Man, thank you so much for everything tonight. Man, tonight, you guys like blew my mind with questions, with subs, with follows, like totally. Oh my gosh. Like I saw the sub train for the first time, or the hype train, I guess you should say. Thank you so much. Like, honestly, like, and I'm not just saying, not just lip service, like really, you guys don't need to, you know, donate your money with subs, and really donating your time is more than enough. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate it extra. I promise 100% of it goes back into making the stream better or making my videos better. Every penny, besides what I donate, gets set aside to improve my content here or on YouTube. So I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think we are gonna raid someone, and I think so people were talking about Devin Nash earlier, and I think he's really awesome. It might be a little bit different content that you guys are used to, but Devin Nash, he's a CMO for an esports team. I think I hopefully I got that right, but I think Devin Nash is a super awesome guy. He runs really interactive streams, really engaging content, and I just think he's awesome. Someone brought up Devin Nash earlier, so I think that we should totally rate him because I think he's awesome. So let me get this set up properly. Oh my gosh, really? LastPass? Speaking of LastPass, are the keyboard commands still valid? All right, we are totally gonna raid Devin Nash. I'm gonna send you over there. Thank you guys so much. Let him know I said hello. He has no idea who he is, but be good. He's good. He's a good guy. But good content. Appreciate it. I will see you guys Saturday afternoon, 3 Central. New video Saturday morning. So I appreciate it. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Adios.